Standoff at halftime. Washington 14, Oklahoma 14. As we take a look now at the breakdown of the first half numbers.
The two turnovers by Washington, both interceptions by Jim Rockford. The thing that impresses me the most is Oklahoma's passing yards came on one play, and the rushing yards has just not been there. The option to dive has gotten them 45 yards to keep 11, and the pitch just 4 yards. Oklahoma has not played well. That's the bad news. The good news is score tied 14-14.
And of course that one completion for the big gainer by Oklahoma, good for 6 points and then a 7th on the extra point.
Oklahoma will take the ball. They deferred their choice to the second half, which is one of the options available in college football. Don James has got to be happy with the performance of his team. They've virtually shut down the wishbone. They're not used to giving up big plays like they did in the first half. But overall, Washington has played respectable football.
Washington's played respectable?
Yes.
I think far better than that. They had the one breakdown there, Trump, with the 56-yard pass. I think they've been outstanding against a favored team.
Okay, well, I'll give them the first quarter. You got to give the second quarter to Oklahoma. So I go back to the respectable. Oklahoma has not played well offensively or defensively throughout the first half.
Washington's had a little bit to do with it, too.
Oh, yeah, no question about that. But your point that forget the national championship, we're talking about winning this football game, is the point to make as we start this second half.
Jock Robinson, who's outrushed the average opponent of Oklahoma in this game in the first half. Sooners #1 in the country against the run, as we pointed out, 68.9 yards. Jock getting 6.6 a pop, too. So he's been ripping it up. His offensive blocking has been excellent. The whole design of the attack against Oklahoma's defense has been very effective. Now we start the third quarter dead even as Jaeger kicks off the ball for Washington. Buster Rhymes, who ran it back well in the first half, will have to down this one for a touchback. The Sooners come out to their 21st and 10. Let's take a look at the offensive unit of the Oklahoma Sooners, led by quarterback Danny Bradley, the man who makes it go. His arcane moves with the ball, his deception, his quickness, the absolute key to making the wishbone masterpiece, and it is one of those, a football masterpiece when it works, go, the Big 8 Offensive Player of the Year. Danny's not big at 5'9", 180 pounds, but he is it. Without him, this offense just doesn't go. Without him in the one game this year against a heavily underdog Kansas team, Oklahoma was beaten. Turned it over 5 times. First play from scrimmage, and the Sooners go to the run behind the right side. Pickett and Dillingham, the center Chuck Thomas. Lydell Carr, the fullback, straight ahead. Got it out for about a 5-yard gain before Ron Holmes knocked him down.
First half, first series of downs for Oklahoma. Ron Holmes was hurt. Came back, played a marvelous first half. They're still going with that 2-5 defense. You can see the linebackers there just trying to take on people. And Holmes, whoa, that's a handful of people.
2nd and 5. The fake, the lost ball, football on the field. Let's see who gets it. Looks like Danny Bradley did. Problem of the wishbone. Football's on the field, although Oklahoma's cut down mistakes a lot this year.
Well, Don, let me make this point, too. This is a dream come true for Danny Bradley. He is playing in the Orange Bowl for Oklahoma and Barry Switzer. And at times as a player, you try to play over your head. Now, Danny just made some dumb mistakes. That's the 5th Oklahoma fumble. They've only lost 1, but they put it on the ground 5 times.
The tough football they handled. A hot, humid night. Now Bradley holds down. He holds it like a loaf of bread. Sure doesn't put 2 arms around it. I guess you can't when you're looking to pitch back. A lot of dare in that offense. Bradley loves the challenge, and on that time, after the misfire of the previous play, he gets ahead for a Sooner first down.
Joe Kelly on the tackle, and this young man is a proud individual. He wants to really perform and perform very, very well, but now got 11 carries for exactly 0 yards.
Danny Bradley. 1st and 10 Sooners in this tie game early in the third quarter. First back through is the fullback, 195-pound Lydell Carr. The Sooners with an array of great runners. Any of them can break at the distance. The 2 QBs for Washington. Snickero's gone the distance. Number 14, Hugh Millen on the left. Started the first 8 games of the year. Stronger arm quarterback, and they're not at all hesitant to make a switch if need be, but Sicero did get them in the end zone.
And Millen throws it very well. Big, tall kid. Throws it very well, but Sicero little more charisma, I suppose. Whoops, there's a movement on Oklahoma. Now, see, the coach is standing on the sideline. Barry Switzer's got to be saying, wait a minute. This guy's a fifth-year senior. He's an experienced offensive lineman. Why are we having these dumb things happen to us here?
Dead ball, false start, offense.
Coach Switzer has seen it before, and he's also seen the big play before. The Sooners showing their stuff on the concluding play of the first half when they went on a slant pattern to Derek Shepard for 56 yards and a touchdown to tie the game. Straight wishbone, one wide out, Rhymes at the top. Now they go into a power wing. Bradley defensed and thrown down by the aforementioned Fred Small.
They have done an excellent job all night long of stopping the wishbone. Now, see, this is a defensive position, not penetration. See, Small, he's anchored right there at the line. And then once the fullback, Lydell Carr, went by him, then he penetrated. Because Lydell Carr, had he gotten the ball, Fred Small makes the tackle. Excellent, excellent job of coaching and execution by Washington.
Fred Small just can't hold back. He can't wait to play. He was hitting people in dummy drills during the week. All Pac-10 linebacker. 3rd and 12. There's another pitch down the middle, and it almost intercepted. They were looking again to Derek Shepard, the exact same play that went for 56 and a touch at the end of the first half. This time, the ball was almost in the hands of Tim Peoples.
Good underneath coverage by Peoples there. Excellent underneath coverage. If they'd have had that in the first half, watch Peoples. You see him sliding at the top of the screen right there, and still there's only one receiver out in the pattern for Oklahoma.
Ron Milas back deep. Winchester to punt for the Sooners. Big rush. They almost got there. Milas was impeded with no flag. He did come up and make a fair catch, but a Sooner was right in front of him. He had to run around him. The punt, though, into the wind coming out of the east and off the Atlantic, just 30 yards. So the Huskies get their first crack at it in the second half when we come back.
Today's game is brought to you by Bud Light, the less filling light beer with the first name in taste. By Mr. Good Ranch and General Motors Parts. By Hilton. When American business hits the road, American business stops at Hilton, America's business address. And by Wheaties. Crispy, crunchy, tasty wheat. Wheaties, what the big boys eat.
Big boys lined up and ready to go. 1st and 10. Washington with the ball. Tied game, 3rd quarter. 1985 Orange Bowl. Handoff goes to Jacques Robinson. He tips up right where he left off in the first half with a good run, weaving, and finally knocked down by Tony Rayburn.
Now let's go back to the Oklahoma bunt. Throughout this football game, they've had problems. Now watch Peoples, 26, untouched. I don't know how he misses this one, but he does. Winchester gets the ball off. And now Washington, in their previous 5 possessions, interception, punt, missed 61-yard field goal. A big offensive series here.
2nd down and 4. Robinson once again, and he rips it ahead inside the 45-yard line. And Jacques Robinson, 1st down. He's about to do the unspeakable against the Oklahoma defense. Rush for 100 yards. He's close to 100 now, early in the 3rd quarter.
Last 4 games of the regular season, Robinson got 100 yards. Certainly working on his 5th. Feeney with an excellent lead block up front, number 30. They're just blowing Oklahoma off the line of scrimmage now. 14 carries, 95 yards.
95 for Jacques, and it's 1st and 10 now for Washington. Roten, the tight end, in motion, leads the blocking. Look at Robinson just weave his way, pick himself through defenders. We talked earlier about Robinson's ability to make people miss at close range, and he demonstrates that as he again runs up the middle for more good yardage.
That should put him over 100 yards. It does, but let's give credit up front to the fat guys. They are doing an excellent job. Ernest, it's our key matchup against Casillas, Robertson, Burnham, Dugan. Maher doing a great job against a sterling defensive line.
2nd down now. Short yardage for the Huskies. Game is tied 14-14. So a little different look at the OU defense and go right back to the money. Jacques Robinson breaks it. Foot race. Angle. They get him. Rayburn knocked him out at the 10. But now the Huskies are challenging close down again as Robinson just broke it for 24 yards.
Did you notice how many Oklahoma players, right at the point where Robinson breaks through the punch, are on the ground? Now watch this. Simple motion by Roten. Finney, an excellent lead block. He's chasing. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the ground. And nobody really gets to Jock Robinson. 24-yard gain.
Rick Finney, an unheralded fullback, but he's made a lot of big blocks, and he's been the key to Robinson breaking some long ones. Jock Robinson with 128 yards rushing early in the third quarter against the #1 rushing defense in America. Cookie Jackson gets the call, takes a full stick as Jackson is leveled at about the 8-yard line.
Oklahoma defensive players got to be saying, what is going on here? We didn't expect this. We didn't see this in the films, but this is the top scoring team in the Pac-10 this year.
That's right. All those turnovers, they turned into points. Huskies come in averaging almost 30 points a game, 29-5. The hitting level picks up down close. Let's listen. Putting up air balls, more looking for the hit. There's a pop at the 17-yard line. Jock Robinson behind the line of scrimmage is hit by inside linebacker Dante Jones, and Mike Mantle was also on the play. He doesn't use a bat like Uncle Mickey, but he can hit. Only a sophomore.
I don't think Uncle Mickey will line up in front of him, though. When he wants to sit down for dinner, I'm sure Mick gives him a seat. Strange call. They run the ball so well, then suddenly come with a little flare pass out to the flat.
3rd and goal. Cicero looping it in, and it is intercepted. The Sooners get the ball. Sonny Brown, sophomore safety from Alice, Texas, looking to Roten, and Sonny Brown comes up with the 3rd Oklahoma interception.
Now that ball is thrown into coverage to Danny Green, the intended receiver. You see Rockford underneath. It's that double rotation zone. Watch, this ball should not have been thrown.
Now the threat is stopped, and the Sooners have it when we come back.
You already have 2. What do you want? You're on, babe. You're on. You're on. Sonny, you're on. You're on. You're on.
How you doing, Norman? I'm on. Alice, come on back on, Alice. You took that.
All right, Sonny Brown. A big play for Sonny. He stopped perhaps a Washington touchdown. Now the Sooners have to move it out from their own end. And Washington's not about to let that happen. David Rill, the freshman linebacker, shot the gap and made the knockdown on Lydell Carr.
Don Washington able to penetrate that Oklahoma offensive line of scrimmage all evening long, which is the key to breaking up the wishbone, getting there to the exchange point and not allowing the wishbone to start.
That's the key term, the exchange point. Where Bradley gives it up. The Huskies built. That's where they had to make the connection with Bradley. They don't this time. Pitch back. Here comes speed as Patrick Collins. Back home in Miami, Florida. Not big, 170 pounds, but a state sprinter.
All right, here you see the wishbone. First option, dive. Bradley keeps it. Second option is the keep. You see the linebackers there, then the pitch. That is the longest run from scrimmage for the option tonight, Don.
Barry Switzer says you've got to run these plays 1,000 times to get them right. Players say, why do we have to do 1,000 times? Because he said 999 is not enough when this much precision's involved. A last-second pitch by Bradley got the yardage. It's 3rd and 2 now. Bradley. First down, Sooners. This is how it began. First quarter score, Cicero to Danny Green, 29 yards to a wide-open Green touchdown. Then Washington got another, Robinson in from a yard out. And the surprise, a real shocker early, Washington 14, Oklahoma nothing. Then the Sooners came back, turned an interception into a subsequent touchdown, Oklahoma scoring on Shepard. And then they tied the game on Shepard's 56-yard catch to conclude the first half. Bradley getting the first touchdown on a keep. Now they go on first down to Lydell Carr. Dan Ernestine, who was voted a College Football Hall of Fame scholar athlete, honored in New York last December. Some help from the oxygen.
matched up against Casillas. I don't blame him for looking for that error somewhere.
Oh, yeah, he's played admirably against the best nose guard in the country.
Yes, he has.
Sometimes they let Casillas come ripping through and they blast him on a blindside block, a trap block. 2nd and 6. Bradley sees something he doesn't like, so he calls a timeout.
Yeah. Washington all evening long has disguised their defense very well. Bradley there making a good choice. Go to the sideline, regroup, try to come up with a big play.
So often big games like this turn on mistakes, and I think they're both waiting for him to see something like that happen in the second half to force it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Oklahoma right now leads an excellent drive to take some of the emotion away from Washington. They get the ball to start the second half and drive it right down the field. The interception, of course, stopped the drive, but Oklahoma's not stopped Washington tonight.
2nd down and 7 now for the Sooners. Throw and a catch out to the 35-yard line. It's a first down as Derek Shepard, the sophomore, makes another big play for the Sooners with 6:12 to go in the third quarter.
11 yards on the catch, and now Shepard's got the respect of those Washington defensive backs. They're laying off quite a few yards. And Shepard runs it out. Good play fake by Danny Bradley. Nice completion.
And when they didn't lay off them, that was the last play of the second quarter. He broke a slant for a 56-yard touchdown to tie the game. It's still tied 14-14. Rydell Carr, the first back through, rips it straight ahead. He's got another Sooner first down as we want to wish a very happy 35th anniversary to NBC affiliate KPRC Television in Houston, Texas. A longtime ally and a great station. KPRC TV, 35 years with NBC. 5:55 to play now in the third quarter as the Sooners set up at their 49. Gets back. Boy, that is dangerous. And free ball. Jimmy Rogers comes up with the ball for Washington. High risk, high power.
6th fumble by Oklahoma. 2nd lost. And Washington has made a living all year long with these turnovers. You see the hit by number 30 run Jim Rogers. Washington has it again.
They'll go on 1st and 10 when we come back. Jim Rogers, number 39 from Aloha, Oregon, just came up with the free ball. Don James says we're going to be looking for footballs on the field, and the Huskies just found one. 1st and 10 now. Game still tied. Third quarter, 14-14. Jock Robinson, they got a lot of red-shirted guys looking at his number. He didn't get much on first down. Now while we have a moment, let's go to Bill McAtee on the sideline. Bill?
All right, Don, Oklahoma feels like they have to be able to get outside. They made an adjustment at halftime. The key man to block is a linebacker, number 36, Joe Kelly, who lines up on the split inside. In the first half, the lead blocker would read Kelly. Kelly was taking a step that told everybody he was out of the play. Well, Kelly would then come up after the lead blocker went after somebody else and make the play. So Kelly is the key. Back upstairs.
All right, Bill, we'll accept that. As Cicero gets ready, pitches it back to Robinson. Gets complicated, this big-time football, and there's nothing complicated about that. As Jock Robinson gets piled. They're going to start to play fake to him, Trump, and go deep in a minute.
Sonny Brown on the tackle, and all night long we've featured Mr. Casillas, Tony Casillas. I'll watch him on Ernestine once again. This is our key matchup. Ernestine has done a great job of at least getting Casillas to slow down, but once that guy gets going, boy, he's a raging bull. Robinson now 18 carries, 131 yards.
A human wrecking ball, Tony Casillas. They've done a good job for the most part against him.
Whoops, whoops, whoops.
Penalty marker down. Cicero throwing on the run. Ball is caught. Roten, the tight end, got it for 11 yards, but illegal motion against the Huskies, so it comes back. And we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
You're watching KING TV, Channel 5, Seattle.
Look, Now you see all kinds of hats. The hog hats are a great standout from Arkansas. The Husky hats from Washington.
I wonder if she bought that in Miami or brought that from Seattle.
Not too many fur hats for sale in
You
Miami.
got that right.
Motion on the offense. 2 men in the backfield moving at the same time.
Well, an illustration of good coaching. That is only Washington's second penalty of the game. We're down to 4:13 to play. Third quarter. The clock starts up again. The Huskies ready to go. 3rd and 12. Green coming off the left flank. Running a deep pattern. Cicero lets her rip.
Nobody there.
No, he had looked like Mark Addison was open deep. That Mark's going to tell him that when he comes back. But they won't get another chance at it. It's 4th down. They're going to punt the ball. Thane Cleveland into punt. A sophomore. And back to return it is Sonny Brown, one of those veteran safeties who've played so well for the Sooners. High kick. It's going to pin Brown back inside the 20-yard line. It'll be angled out of bounds at the 11. The sophomore Thane Cleveland does a good job punting the ball for the Huskies. A 32-yarder, but well placed at the 11-yard line. Sooners get the ball in this tie game, but again they start deep in their own end. A long way to go. Bud Wilkinson's Oklahoma team was the most dominant football team of the 50s. The Sooners won 13 conference titles, 3 national championships, and 4 of 5 Orange Bowls played during his reign. Coach Wilkinson, the man responsible for bringing Sooner football to national attention. He had those great teams. Sometimes they'd run off 5 and 6 plays without a huddle, and it wasn't a 2-minute drill. Precision was the name of the game. And it is right now with this Oklahoma team. They have to be precise on the quick handoff. This time a straight-ahead power play. Lydell Carr didn't get much on first down, got some. UCLA came back to beat Miami today on NBC Sports at the Fiesta Bowl. Boston College was away ahead, then was challenged and finally pulled away to beat Houston. And then the Southern California Trojans, standing tall for the Pac-10 at the Rose Bowl, held on to beat Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl. Nebraska having little trouble, it would appear, with the Tigers of LSU. Second down coming up now for Oklahoma. Still a tie game. They're not going to give Derek Shepard that slant anymore. If they give it to him, they're going to give him a couple of pops with it. That time Peoples got him. That was the play that went for 56 and a touchdown.
Don Shepard's the only Oklahoma receiver to catch the ball tonight. That's it. They have not spread it around at all. Bradley now 2 of 9, 69 yards and a touchdown. 56 of the 69 yards on that one completion to Shepard.
Third down and 6 arises. 14-14 in this 1985 Orange Bowl. Danny Bradley lets her rip. Buster Rhymes can't get to the ball. I don't know if they're particularly thrilled with the play of Buster Rhymes running patterns here tonight. He's had some great returns. First time he touched the ball returning a punt, he brought it back 38. But it seems that he and Bradley aren't on the same page on the pass pattern.
Yeah, Don, let's watch this punt now. Washington has come close several times tonight.
They really have. They've got 10 guys looking like they're going to come. Miles is on his own returning it.
See him moving back and forth. Oklahoma tried to point him out. Washington moves.
Again, they made a play on the ball. Winchester hangs it high, and Miles makes a fair catch at the 49-yard line. Just a 30-yard punt into the wind, but no return. Coach Switzer can get a little exercise on the sidelines. Here he is.
Looks like he's going to bite through that bottom lip, doesn't he?
Huskies get it when we come back. 13 opponents are wondering BYU who. Cougars beat everybody they lined up against. Did not beat a team that finished in the top 20, but they did everything any football team could be asked to do And right now, they're awaiting the outcome of this game as we see who will be the national champion. A tie game, it would appear Trump would lock it up for BYU.
I tend to think there are a lot of TV sets on in the state of Utah. Yes, yes.
Well, they have a coach out there, Liddell Anderson, who's long overdue getting the recognition he deserved. He's been a great football coach, one of the most respected people in the game. Cicero turns upfield and gets the ball down to the 45-yard line.
And it was a busted play. They tried for that reverse spin by the quarterback, trap to Jock Robinson, and Cicero couldn't get the ball off to him. He did the smart thing, just hang on to it.
Troy Johnson ran him down. The weather has been absolutely ideal for this 51st renewal of the Orange Bowl Classic. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Bill McAtee is here with us as we have 2:20 to play in the third quarter, and the game tied as it was at halftime, 14-14. Robinson.
Jock Robinson on the
You've
carry.
seen a lot of the great runners in the NFL, Trump. They all seem to have that move that doesn't look like they're going anywhere. They give you a little shake of the leg and bang, they're by.
Yeah, he kind of floats. He doesn't appear to have great acceleration off the ball, but he allows his offensive linemen to get into those defensive linemen, and he can find the spot. He's now got 135 yards on 19 rushes.
He's working on a double. Sooners giving up 68 yards a game, #1 in the nation. He could be going to double that individually. 68 yards to the opposing team on the effort. Third and short. Cicero's looking deep. And the Sooners get you.
Fumble. They got it.
Oklahoma sure thinks they do, and the officials concur. Reed or Tony Casillas. We'll see as we look at the replay.
Cicero had a couple receivers open. Well, you can see he's busy. He's got Richard Reed in his face. Ball does, in fact, come loose. There's Casillas, 92. It looks like he's wrestling the ball away from a Washington Husky.
Ball might be flat after Big Tony falls on it. Kodiak Bear in the Freeman Crimson of Oklahoma. Long loop pass. The big play by the Sooners. Steve Sewell gets it coming out of the backfield.
Oklahoma, when it gets the defense breathless, needs to be able to come up with these plays. This is well thrown by Danny Bradley. Right to the sideline. Sewell, probably the most multi-talented player on the team. 30 yards on the catch. Another big play.
He can break the long one. He has a 79-yard touchdown pass play to his credit this season. Handoff. Lydell Carr is going to be ready for about 3 days in the surf of South Florida. He is taking some pounding. They're really keying on that first back through. You just can't play only the option because they can break at the distance, any of these backs. Lydell Carr has been getting a lot of fakes, and he's getting hit when he's not carrying the ball. Third quarter clock winds down, 42 seconds to play. 14-14. #2 Oklahoma with a football. The big play for the Sooners has been the slant-in pattern to sophomore Derek Shepard. It went for 56 and a touchdown at the end of the first half. This time it goes for 13 and a first down.
Bradley's completed 4 passes, 3 to Shepard, 3 on this play. Take that back, 2 on this play. He also ran a square out. They've been throwing the ball rather sparingly, haven't they?
Now starting to make it count, though. Shepard having a big night. 3 catches for 87 yards and the touchdown. So it's first and goal for Oklahoma, where the yards come tough inside the 10. And this will be the final play of the third quarter. Ron Holmes makes the stop on Spencer Tillman. So still a standoff through 3 quarters of play. At the end of the 3rd quarter, the score is the Washington Huskies 14, the Oklahoma Sooners 14. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Both teams have got done.
Today's game is brought to you by Nissan. We're changing our name from Datsun to Nissan, known for high-quality cars and trucks. Datsun is now Nissan. By Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By Soloflex, wishing you a happy and healthy new year. And by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
To stop the Sooners, you've got to shut down the engine in the offense, Danny Bradley, and let's see what they do now. 2nd down and goal from the 9. Bradley, a quick out. And a good defensive play by Vesti Jackson, the left corner.
Vesti Jackson made the stop.
And that was an awful long throw. We could see that going right away from us. You wondered if Vesti Jackson was going to get there before the ball got to the receiver.
It'll be 3rd and goal from the 6-yard line. It's Oklahoma asks for a timeout.
So they're going to take a timeout. It's too important down close now with 3rd down coming up. We'll be back after this. The final game of the bowl season, the best matchup, and it's been a great game as we're in the 4th quarter. The Sooners in red, the Huskies in white, locked up as they've been since halftime, 14-all. And now what do we go to, Bob?
I don't know, but I just saw Danny Bradley catch the ear of Buster Rhymes. I'd bet that Buster Rhymes is the primary guy if it's a pass or something funny here.
Well, I like Jackson, the tight end, down close. They haven't gone to him yet. Keith Jackson, the freshman tight end from Little Rock, Arkansas. He's going to keep it. And he's stopped. Jackson did some hitting, though, out of the 3-point, blocking on the play.
Tight end is always one of the key factors in that triple option. He's the one who bangs that linebacker and then releases. See what we got Jackson doing. He tries to hook him inside and does an excellent job. But Danny Bradley seems to lose his footing.
So now Lasher, a walk-on kicker, ready to try to break the tie. Tough angle to his right. He's 7 of 7 at this distance. And 8 for 8. And the favored Sooners take the lead in the game for the first time with 14:01 to play. A 22-yarder.
Excellent drive the first time this half that Oklahoma's had decent offensive field position. Is Barry Switzer watching on? 8 of 8 now. And a flag is thrown on the Boomer Sooner schooner there for delay of game.
Barry saying this doesn't happen in Norman.
Well, it's AstroTurf in Norman. That thing can get out there and off a little quicker.
Wouldn't it be something? The famed Boomer Sooner schooner was a factor in the football game. I don't think it'll be out there again.
The Switzer will get out there and hold the reins.
There might be a new driver next year. That's
Yeah, we
likely.
got another try at the
The
field
live
goal.
ball, illegal procedure on the offense.
Isn't that something? It's still a tie game, 14-14. That Boomer Sooner schooner driver will gain infamy like the guy who runs the snow brush up in Foxborough.
15-yard penalty, Don.
Yes, he's had some tough calls this year, Barry Switzer.
You know what they're doing? They're calling illegal procedure and then adding on the unsportsmanlike conduct for the Conestoga wagon with horses going on the field. That's a 20-yard penalty.
So we should point out the field goal would be negated anyway by the illegal procedure.
Correct.
And the Boomer schooner cost him another 15, so now Lasher has to unload from 42.
Next time we hear that gun go off, we better check those horses.
Blocked by Washington.
Oh, no.
Another penalty marker down. Huskies might have shot early. We'll have to wait and see. Coach Switzer saying that humility's only a week away in this game.
Illegal procedure on the offense. 5 men on the line of scrimmage. Is declined. It's first down, White.
Referee Jimmy Harper delivering a bad news to the Sooners.
Schooner was the 12th man on the field, blocked very well by Peoples. Interesting, too, that last year had not had a field goal longer than 36 yards this season. How about that? He's still jawing.
The famed Oklahoma Schooner got him another 15, and now the points that were up have come down. A legal procedure call on sportsmanlike penalty, another legal procedure, a block field goal then, and now the Huskies have stopped what seemed to be a sure Oklahoma score, and Washington has the ball, and Hugh Millen is into quarterback Washington. This is the long-range bomber. Ironically, his favorite target, Mark Patterson, teamed with him at Roosevelt High in Seattle. But when they played there, Patterson, the wide receiver, was the quarterback.
Really? I didn't know that.
First down and 10 for Washington. Millen looking long. Big defensive play. Mike Mantle knocked it down. Now while we have a moment, let's go to Bob Costas in New York.
All right, Don. Strange doings at the Orange Bowl. Meanwhile, Nebraska has won the Sugar Bowl 28-10, blowing it open against LSU with 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. This is the first of them. Craig Sundberg to Todd Crane, 24 yards. Sundberg, the MVP, 3 touchdown passes and a scoring run. Nebraska intercepted 5 passes. That ties the Sugar Bowl record.
Thank you, Bob. Nothing wrong with Nebraska. Barry Switzer says, I'm not sure they're not the best team in the country. He said, I know we don't want to play them again. Oklahoma did beat Nebraska, though, 17-7. Handoff, and the Sooners riled up by missing the field goal and the subsequent misconnection. Richard Reed was through to make the knockdown. No question that Washington is going to be a firing now because Oklahoma is shutting down the running game, and Millen is the long-range passer.
They've not gone to Robinson either in this series. They've had good success. I'm sure we got an Orange Bowl record, too. Longest penalty on a wagon in the Orange Bowl. Wow, what a play. What a bonehead play.
That's right. Millen, big rush, screen pass, but he threw it to one of his offensive linemen, his center, Dan Ernestine. Dan made a nice catch, but it's not what they were looking for. Dan thought maybe nobody noticed. He kept running.
Yeah, tough for Hugh Millen to come in here. He's been sitting for 3 quarters and then got to come out, direct a big drive. He got leveled, absolutely leveled when he let the ball go.
Millen is not at all inexperienced, though. He started the first 8 games of the season for the Washington Huskies. They bogged down against Arizona, and that's when Cicero came in. Cicero was at QB in the only loss against the Trojans at the Coliseum. And now, the Sooner defense rising up, and Washington has to punt the ball. And Buster Rhymes, who's ripped up 138-yard punt return high in that end zone. Sonny Brown up front to talk to Buster and lead the blocking. Back as a double safety, Sonny Brown. Long punt, but it'll come back now. Buster signals a fair catch, makes a diving one at the 50. A 36-yard punt, and the Sooners get the ball back in this tie game with excellent field position. But nothing like they had a little bit earlier when they had first and goal and didn't get points. We'll be back to the 1985 Orange Bowl right after this. An unusual Orange Bowl moment and an unfortunate one for the Sooners when the schooner driver brought his team of horses out on the field, got an unsportsmanlike penalty, and then the subsequent field goal was blocked We're going to have Bill McAtee talking to that driver. He's going to go down in the history books with the guy who drives the snow machine up in Washington, New England.
Let me give a word of advice to that guy. Head that wagon out the exit. Don't talk to anybody. Make sure that you give a false name and address.
How about those little horses?
Well, I think they're all right. I mean, they're just following orders, right?
Don James might give him a carrot or an apple.
Can you have a wagon as the most valuable player defensively?
Now the Sooners have the ball, though. First down and 10. Sewell working hard, and he gets 6 yards. Let's go and find out about that Sooner schooner. Bill?
All right, Don, I want to get to the bottom of this bizarre penalty that we saw. First of all, why were you on the field?
We've been okayed with the Orange Bowl official to take the schooner onto the field after touchdowns and field goals. We had that okay before the game. The referee signaled a field goal, and we took the schooner out, just like we've been okayed to do.
And were you a little surprised about the penalty?
That's the first time we've got a penalty since 1965 for having the schooner on the field.
Rather bizarre scene. Back to the action.
And back to live action on second down and 4. Straight ahead they go down to the 40-yard line. Steve Sewell runs the ball.
Ron Holmes, number 92.
With 12 minutes left to play. Ron Holmes and David Rill were on the stop. The story of this game not complete until the full story of the Sooner schooner is written. Wouldn't that be something that cost Oklahoma a football game?
Yes. On second half, Oklahoma had outstanding field position, and you've got to marvel at the Washington defense. Tell them to no points.
Third and short yardage, a strike at the line of scrimmage by Ron Holmes, but Lydell Carr spins off it on the freshman from Enid, Oklahoma, who's really taken some hits tonight. Gets ahead for the first down yardage, so the Sooners drive on. The electronic age marches on. This is part of a new innovation in sports television, the Skycam. This is the computer setup high up in the press box. Then out over the field, the Skycam on cables. Look at it, going all around like something out of Star Wars.
I'm disappointed. I thought Steven Spielberg would be up there running that thing.
He wishes he invented it. Now we have Danny Bradley throwing the ball. He's sacked. He does get the ball away, but it's an incomplete pass going to his tight end, Jackson. Fred Small putting the rush on him, number 5, the all Pac-10 linebacker.
Don, throughout this ball game, Washington has disguised their intentions defensively very well. There you see the late blitz. A very late blitz by Roberts on the outside. And Small coming. Finally, he gets the ball off. Danny Bradley does, but now 5 of 14, 120 yards and a touchdown. Not good stats for Danny Bradley tonight.
We're in the fourth quarter. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. The 1985 Orange Bowl. The game is tied 14-14. As Bradley on second down fires, very nearly picked up by the Huskies. Jackson actually had to knock that ball away. He became the defender.
Joe Kelly was the man who almost made the play. You'll see Jackson come underneath all that linebacker coverage, and Kelly with great quickness right there. Now watch Jackson.
Brings up a third.
He made the tackle.
Kelly can catch it, too. 5 interceptions this year.
Yeah, I think he's got a cramp, Don.
Tremendous player.
It's hot and humid. Interesting, Washington has this deal, you know about this too, where if they lose the fourth quarter in the regular season, Don James makes them run. Even if they win the game, if they lose point-wise the fourth quarter, they have to go through more conditioning.
Right now we go to third down and 10. Bradley throwing, keeping, look out. Danny Bradley and a big open field tackle by Tim Peoples. Might have saved 6. 12-yard gain as it was, and the Sooners start to mount another challenge in this tie game.
Now, once again, what you see here is one guy trying to block Danny Bradley. About 8 times out of 10, Bradley will break that tackle. Peoples is the best defensive back in the open field tackling that Washington has. That's certainly good luck for them, but they keep firing that wishbone at you.
Every year, the Orange Bowl concludes the bowl season. Every year, a spectacular game in the recent years. Sewell with a darting move, and he gets inside the 25-yard line. Joe Kelly. Father played briefly with the Los Angeles Rams. He's the #1 tackler on the Washington team. Just a junior, undersized linebacker, only weighs 205, but hits a ton. Talk about a couple of fiery players igniting a whole defense. He's certainly one of those. The other inside backer, another one, the Ember.
Uh-oh, we got an audible here. Nope.
Lydell Carr listed Crump at only 195, but he plays a lot bigger than that as he comes down to the 20-yard line.
Leading rusher this season for the Sooners. Did you see Bradley hit the top of his helmet? A couple of days ago in practice, they were running offense against Washington, and that was an audible. They don't have word audibles. They have just they have communication between the quarterback and the receiver, and they run the audible play.
Third down coming up now. 3rd and 3. Free ball. Washington hoping they have it. That's the signal from the Huskies, but we'll wait till they peel off the bodies. Steve Sewell looked like he was going to.
They got it.
Again, the #1 team in the country at freeing the football and forcing turnovers delivers again.
No. Oklahoma.
We had one signal the other way.
Yes. It's not enough for a first down either. You'll see Collins come up through here and takes another great hit by Tafono, ball loose. And then it's a scramble. I'm telling you, the officials they're blind in that situation. There's no way to determine who, in fact, has that ball. That's the 7th time Oklahoma's put it on the ground. They've lost for 2.
Now a 35-yard field goal by Lasher. Plenty into it. He's through.
Somebody grab the horses.
Not to be found. There they are at the corner.
Anchored. Flat tires.
Get the wheel off that wagon. So Oklahoma takes the lead.
Lasher to kick off.
Lasher kicks it off now. David Trimble takes it at the 2-yard line for Washington. Out to the 26-yard line. And the Huskies go on offense again, now trailing for the first time in the game, 17-14. Hugh Millen is staying in at quarterback. Cicero worked the first 3 quarters and part of the 4th. And Hugh Millen came in. Washington now needing to go a long way to get range, and they're not looking for ties in this one. The Brown Huskies in from the Pac-10 playing in their first Orange Bowl and the first time they've ever lined up against Oklahoma. Play ball again. Looks like Washington has it.
Washington retains control.
I'll tell you what, it may have something to do with the heat and humidity, but
I think it is a slippery ball.
the ball has certainly been hard to handle. That's the 10th fumble of the night.
Surprisingly few have been lost, though.
This is that trap up the middle. It's kind of the sprint draw for Washington. They were very lucky to get that ball back, Don.
Got the ball and got a yard at 2nd down and 9. 8:12 to play, clock running, 4th quarter. Sooners in red lead the game 17-14. Millen throws, and it's over the outstretched arm to the tight end, Roten. It's got to be tough for a guy to come in, as you pointed out, waiting for 3 quarters and come in when you have to throw.
Yeah, a little more to that. He started the first 8. Has not really played much since then. In the 4-week wait to play this game, he's got to be game rusty. There's no question about that. Washington tonight also just 1 of 9 in third down conversions. And the Oklahoma defense is very good at stopping opponents. Only 26% of the time do they convert those third downs.
Millen waits and throws, and the ball is taken down by Danny Green. 3rd and 10, and the Huskies deliver for 28 yards.
Green has been outstanding. This has got to help Millen, too, for the rest of the ball game. Really give him a good pump. That's the first time he's really fired it down there. That's Green. This is an excellent catch. His 4th of the night for 96 yards and a touchdown.
The outset of the season, he was an All-American in the preseason selector's opinion. Didn't catch that many balls this year, 29. But he's having a big concluding game of his career for the Huskies. Now they have first down. Look at this, up the middle. Straight ahead goes the fullback, Rick Fenny, on a quick trap block. They were looking pass, keying on Robinson, and Fenny got the ball and rips it down inside the 20-yard line.
Don, I got to see this one again, but I don't think they blocked the 2 defensive tackles. I think they just, let's watch the offensive line. Let's see what happens. Oh, it is a trap, an excellent trap.
Oh,
and Fenny's already 5 yards down the field before anybody realizes. 27 yards on the carry.
One of the strongest Huskies, sophomore fullback Rick Fenny. Washington trailing, but now challenging inside the 20. 7:10 to play in the game. Jock Robinson with a lot of carries and a lot of welts as the Sooners are knocking on him all night long, and Coach Switzer pacing those sidelines hard as Miliazzo of Oklahoma made the tackle.
Not a bad night.
4-yard gain on the play.
Especially when you consider once again that Oklahoma had allowed their opponents an average of 68 yards rushing per ball game. Jock Robinson's put that one to rest, hasn't he?
Big game for Jock, but they need more right now, do the Huskies, as they trail 17-14. 6:30 to play in the game. Clock running. Fenny got it once, go again, but he didn't get much on 2nd and 6. Got a couple. The Huskies well within field goal range. They want more than that, trailing in the game 17-14.
Not the most important thing here. Keep possession of the football. We've seen an awful lot of turnovers by both teams down in the red zone, as you call it, inside the 30-yard line.
Washington has a lot of interesting plays that we haven't seen yet. One's due anytime. They're looking for that end zone. Timing pattern. Patterson, touchdown.
Wait a minute, he come down in bounds?
They said he did. The arms went up. Mark Patterson's first catch of the night. As his high school teammate, Hugh Millen, delivers to him. The roles reversed now. Patterson was the quarterback in high school.
The officials did not hesitate for a split second. This is well thrown by Millen. Yes, his feet are down. Excellent call by the officials. Nice little fade pattern. That's a nice drive by Washington.
So the Huskies deliver under pressure, and they now come from behind. A most important extra point would give them a 4-point lead, which they get. And the Sooners now have to go into the end zone to win this game with 5:42 to play. That's a different 19. It was 19 Mark Patterson who caught the ball. A lot of the Huskies wear duplicate numbers. Washington in the lead.
This is a fine throw by Millen. This is a 74-yard drive, 12 yards, touchdown to Patterson. His first catch of the night. Watch Barry Switzer. Come on, he's saying, what's going on out there?
So the Huskies, after they lose the lead for the first time in the game, drive right down the field and finally connect on a scoring throw. Millen to Patterson, and now it's Washington, the 21-17 leader, 5:42 to play. Jaeger ready to kick the ball off for Washington. Buster Rhymes, he fumbled it out of bounds. there alone, and this was a killer for the Sooners, perhaps. Still a lot of time left.
5:41 left. This decision, you got to know where that sideline is and what you're going to do with it. That ball bouncing off his chest makes it 1st and 98.
He was looking at the coverage, never caught the ball. But Switzer showing something here. He's putting Rhymes right in the lineup, putting him out as a wideout. Oklahoma down by 4 in the 4th quarter, 5:40 to play. Ball was tipped, it's intercepted. And down to the 2-yard line goes Joe Kelly. They were going to Rhymes, but it never got away from the line of scrimmage.
Bradley really gets pressured. You can see people just with their hands up. Holmes again. Ball tipped up. A jump ball for Joe Kelly. Huskies have it. This is a marvelous effort by Ron Holmes. He's been double teamed and dirty and hurt and tired and sweaty. And that fourth quarter that we talked about, this is one of the most well-conditioned football teams you'll find in the country. It's paid off.
Right now, the Huskies load up the offense with a 1st and goal coming up from 3 yards away from the Sooner end zone.
Too much time.
That's expensive. Delay a game is the signal. It'll cost Washington 5 yards, so it'll be 2nd and goal. Now let's go down to Bill McAdee.
All right, Don, we're with Bob Lafferty, the president of the Orange Bowl committee. We want to put a lid on this once and for all. Did the mascot, the wagon, have your permission to come on the field?
No, that's the referee's call. It's not ours. The Orange Bowl committee has nothing to do with that at all. So they may do that in Norman, Oklahoma, but right here, it's not something that the referees are going to allow them to do.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. Back upstairs.
So after the penalty now, Washington set to go 1st and goal from the 8. There's a major league pop by freshman Brian Bosworth.
We haven't called his name a lot tonight, Don. Washington's done a great job on Bosworth. Repeated on Thursday. No, I think it was Saturday. He kind of hurt his knee a little bit. But watch Casillas. He's been down and dirty all night long. He does a good job on him there. He runs from behind the play.
So now 2nd down and goal comes up for the Huskies. They lead the game 21-17, 4:55 to play. Millen to Finney, and he's into the end zone.
This is a cutback by Finney. A 6-yard run for a touchdown. He was basically untouched until he got to the goal line.
Finney with some big plays, and they weren't looking for him on all of them. Extra point is up and good, and now with 4:48 to play, the Huskies extend their lead to 11. The Sooners need 2 touchdowns to win this.
Look at the cutback. Great job by Maher. He cut off the defensive end, cut down the pursuit, allowed Finney to get in the end zone. No one there to touch him until he's in the end zone.
And a great second look. A terrific job again by our NBC technicians as Rick Finney takes it in for a Washington lead of 11. The Washington Huskies standing tall in a tough game. They now open up an 11-point lead in the 4th quarter as sophomore fullback Rick Finney just busted in. And now this whole number 1 scenario takes an interesting twist as Rhymes returns the kickoff. Right up the middle he goes and is finally knocked down at the 24-yard line. The scenario taking a turn towards Washington. You have to consider the Huskies beating the number 2 team in the country by a decided margin at the moment.
And you know, Don, the ironic thing is that all the press down here in Miami has questioned Don James on his BYU number 1. He said, I'll play him next year. I don't have anything to say about that.
Right now, for Oklahoma, it's got to be wide open football. They've got to start firing deep, needing 2 touchdowns. And here comes Bradley to do it. Throwing a catch, but not for much. He got Patrick Collins coming out of the backfield. And you see the game clock winding down in the 4th quarter. Jim Rockford, he had a couple of big plays for the Sooners, intercepting 2 first-half passes.
He can't believe it.
Rick Fenny, happy to be here and very happy to have been in the end zone a moment ago. Another throw. Oh, 2 that Steve Sewell's dropped in the open field.
I don't know that he can throw it much better than that.
He's been out for a couple of games. A foot fracture kept him out of half the Nebraska game and all of the Oklahoma State game. But he's running good patterns, has just not been able to connect with the ball downfield. And it brings up 3rd down and 6.
How about the slant pass?
Worked before. Derek Shepard at the top of your screen. You got it, but it doesn't work. And it's very nearly a Washington football. Now, here we go, Trump with 4th down. Washington's going to be working hard to get back in the end zone. They're going to be a factor in the final voting if they win this big.
I agree with you. That ball is tipped just as Danny Bradley throws it from behind the line of scrimmage, Don. Washington has gotten in Bradley's face all night long.
Might not punt. Needing 2 touchdowns with 4:02 to play. Going to hit it. Good one, too. Ball is hammered downfield by Mike Winchester. Ron Miles brings it back for the Huskies, and he gets it to the 31-yard line. 50-yard punt, a 9-yard return with 3:48 to play in the game. Sunday, January 6th, NBC Sports will be right back here at the Orange Bowl as the excitement in pro football continues. The AFC Championship game, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Miami Dolphins. NFL 84 gets underway at 12 noon with host Bob Costas. The big day as the Steelers and the Dolphins, longtime rivals in the American Conference, hook up for the right to go to the Super Bowl. Right now, Washington working hard to get some votes in the final rankings. Some first-place votes as they go to the run, and Fenny takes it, gets out across, breaks it again, and gets it to the 45-yard line, gained 15 yards.
Now, once again, to put this in its perspective, Oklahoma playing in the Big 8, which is a very tough rushing conference, has allowed an average of 68 yards rushing by their opponents. That average has been destroyed by Washington tonight.
Penny is an extraordinarily strong football player. Bench presses close to 500 pounds, believe it or not, for a 235-pound fullback. As the man is being attended to, that's Ricky Dixon, one of the safeties. We'll be back at the Orange Bowl after this. Back now to live action, 4th quarter, 1st and 10, Washington. Jock Robinson weaving ahead, and he gets to the 47-yard line. An unusual turn of events in the bowl season. Brigham Young winning, including with a 13-0 record. And the conversation was all about Oklahoma winning by at least 2 touchdowns here to overtake them. But now we see underdog Washington holding to a 28-17 lead, and the Huskies will be looking for more. There are, of course, 2 polls that determine the mythical national championship. Surely an inexact science in determining the national titleist. But Washington's going to get a lot of consideration from fellow coaches of Don James after this showing against second-ranked Oklahoma. Penny breaks open again, and Rick Penny, the big power back, takes it down to the 42-yard line. Guy's trouble. 11 yards.
11 yards on the carry. Washington now has 2 backs with almost 200 yards rushing. Penny and Jock Robinson. Now, Don, a few days ago at Washington's practice out at the University of Miami, they had stories. Highest total this season. That's the story of the game. Washington's been able to control the football. I'll tell you about their locker room in a minute.
We see the game clock winding down close to 2 minutes. Pitch back. Jock Robinson gets to the 40 on first down, and that was all. As the clock now down to 1:58 and winding down.
At the University of Miami, Washington had put up a great many articles that were written with quotes from Oklahoma football players. And there were paragraphs in yellow and several comments from Oklahoma players saying, we don't think this will be a very tough game. This is for the national championship. We think we can handle Washington. Well,
and of course, we will be talking with the winning coach of the 1985 Orange Bowl immediately after the game. Right now, Don James looks like the man who'll have the microphone in front of him. As with 1:25 to play, quarterback Hugh Millen calls a timeout to get some counsel from Coach James.
this is an awful big win for Don James, too. This year he lost to USC and missed a chance at the Pac-10 title. And in the 2 previous years, he lost to Washington State for a chance at the Pac-10 title. This is a big win for Don James.
If by some ironic turn of events Washington should win the national championship, they'd be the first team to do it that didn't win their own conference.
That's something.
We'd like to give a special thanks to Hal Fleming, who is the production manager of the Orange Bowl. He's retiring after being with the Orange Bowl, well, they say on the card forever. He's been a part of it a long time, and it's a great event with all the people of South Florida behind a classic now in its 51st year. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. As right now, the Huskies break the huddle. They come to the 41-yard line. 2nd down and 9.
Number 1.
Robinson working for yards. So many people make an event like this as good as it is on television. The great pictures, as Barry Switzer now wants a timeout. And we can tell you the executive producer of NBC Sports, Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of football is Ted Nathanson. Tonight's telecast was produced by George Finkel. Director and halftime producer John Gonzalez. Halftime directed by Bob Levy. Technical director Lenny Stucker. And we thank them all and all the people from NBC Sports who put this game on the air, as Washington with 2 timeouts and Barry Switzer and the Sooners with none at all, as the Huskies are closing in on a big upset win.
Look at there. They're having fun down here, aren't they?
They've been down here a while. They came down December 21st.
J.C. Pearson there celebrating. Robinson's gotten 141 yards rushing. Benny 66. It's 2:07. Oklahoma came into the ball game tonight. Major college football's #1 rushing defense.
And our thanks to NBC statistician Ross Schneiderman, to assistant statistician Bobby Harris, to our spotter for Oklahoma, Jeff Seal, and our spotter for Washington, Craig Hayamoto. In New York, the studio show was produced by Tom Roy and directed by J.D. Hansen. As we go to live action now, 3rd down and 8. 1:14 to go. Pitch back to Jock Robinson.
Jock Robinson on the carry. Knocked down by David Becker.
Game clock winding down under a minute. So for Barry Switzer, who's seen this happen before, his Sooners coming in favor with a possible shot at the Golden Ring, the national title. He was upset by Arkansas in '78. Oklahoma powerless to stop the clock. Don James and the Huskies, as Coach James said from the outset, we like being an underdog. It doesn't happen often, and particularly with the long layoff between the end of the regular season and the bowl game, you like your players thinking that somebody expects them to be beaten.
Don, they fought and scrapped tonight. And they beat Oklahoma the way no one could have expected they'd beat him, and that is with rushing the football.
Great blocking schemes up front. And the Huskies are calling out that we're #1. We go to the polls. Midnight tonight, the votes will be called. Due to the length of tonight's game, the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson will not be seen. Stay tuned for local news, followed by Late Night with David Letterman. And, of course, after the game, we'll be talking to the winning coach. Ball is snapped and punted, and it's going to go back to the Sooners one more time with 24 seconds to play. 27 Oklahoma just has to pack the gun and fire long.
I don't know if they have a 12-point play in their playbook, but I want them to play some more. This has been an awful good football game to watch.
Sooners getting set with 23 seconds to go. Washington 28, Oklahoma 17. Bradley.
No flag.
Firing to nobody, and now if Tucker comes in, it'll be a loss of down.
Intentional grounding. Holmes again, right in his face.
And also, Trump, while we have a moment to thank some of the people from the Orange Bowl Committee, there are so many who make this a great event year after year. Robert Lafferty, the president. Jack Hale, the president-elect. Stan Marks, vice president. Larry Adams, vice president. Lewis Hall, the secretary-treasurer. And other Orange Bowl notables like Steve Hudson, Steve Lynch, Ernie Seiler, Nick Crane, Charles Kimbrell, and all the people who make the Orange Bowl a great thing to be a part of, and NBC Sports is proud to be here and bring it to you.
They do know how to entertain you, don't they?
They lead the league in party. And in great football games, the third time in the last 4 years, their game has had a bearing on the national championship. Hey, that was almost a very big interception. 15 seconds to go now.
Well, I just can't give enough credit to Don James and his staff. They faced an offense that had been struggling in Oklahoma, but nevertheless, every time Oklahoma had the ball, Washington had to figure, here comes the wishbone. They defensed it beautifully, magnificently. And the offense was the difference in the ball game.
Washington only one loss this year, and that was the Pac-10 champion, Southern California, the victor in the NBC coverage of the Rose Bowl today at Pasadena. Here's the slant pattern to Buster Rhymes.
Maybe Bradley ought to try just giving it to him instead of throwing it to him.
There's one of the real good Sooners, had an interception tonight. That's the strong safety, Sonny Brown.
That's Brian, Rick Bryan's little brother.
Steve. Hey, when you wear the crimson and green of Oklahoma, you don't taste defeat very often. 84% wins under Barry Switzer. Washington led 14-0 first quarter. Sooners tied it at halftime 14-all. Scoreless third quarter. Sooners took the lead 17-14. Then the Huskies came back with 2 unanswered touchdowns. And it looks like that's where it'll be at the final gun.
Been 3 years, too, since Oklahoma was here. Barry Switzer said, as long as Nebraska had those triplets, Rozier, Turner Gill, Irving Fryer, we had no chance. He wanted a better showing tonight by his ball club. Say hello to Dad, Lonzel.
Well, if they end up not number one, I'm sure they'd like a crack at BYU this season. They'll get one next year. And again, you cannot discount or certainly lessen the achievement of the Brigham Young Cougars, lining up against 13 opponents and beating them all. That's the end. The Huskies, traveling in 3,000 miles, hoist the victor. Coach Don James, who finishes 11-1, the best record in Washington football history. You hear about how well this team is coached, and we certainly saw it illustrated tonight. The Sooners were favored. The Huskies did all the good things you have to do to beat a great opponent.
Washington was superbly prepared. Mentally, physically, they won the fourth quarter. That's where they won the game.
Coach Barry Switzer with a team finishing 9-2-1. And I'll tell you about this about Switzer. It's an awful tough time for any coach to come off the field in a big game like this. The loser, but he'll handle it very well. Going over to congratulate Coach James, and we're going to have Bill McAtee on the sideline talking with Coach Don James. As right now, he's going to get the Orange Bowl trophy, a thing of beauty, a presentation right at midfield.
To watch, isn't it? Really an underdog. First time a Pac-10 opponent comes to the Orange Bowl. First meeting between these two coaches and two teams. There's a celebrating going on in Seattle. Last weekend, a team from Seattle didn't fare too well in this Orange Bowl. The Huskies made up for it tonight.
Great win for the Washington Huskies, as the 51st Orange Bowl concludes with Washington scoring 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns after trailing in the game 17-14. And now the vote will be taken. The NBC poll of the Associated Press indicated the support would be for Brigham Young, no matter what Washington won by. But when they close the curtain and go to the voting booth, who knows what's going to happen.
Lonzel Hill has taken his jersey off, dignifying winner number 1. That's a supreme sacrifice right there.
While we have a moment, let's go to Bob Costas in New York. Then we'll be back with Coach Don James. Bob?
Welcome back to the Orange Bowl, where Bob Lafferty is about to make the presentation to Don James. Bob.
Hey, Don, it's Bedlam down here, but you've got the Orange Bowl committee. You're the #1 team in the country, and congratulations. And we'd like to give you this trophy. It's all yours to take way back to the West Coast.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a great 2 weeks for us, and I'm very proud of our players. They played well, and we've got a great football game here.
Thank you so much for coming, and best wishes in the future.
Don, I've got to ask you, and it's pretty obvious how these guys feel behind me, but who's the #1 team in the country and why?
Well, I know they're going to get 2 votes, my vote and Barry's, but they played well, and I think they deserve it.
I must ask you now about the change at quarterback.
Well, we had a pretty good wind down here, and we wanted to get a stronger arm in there going against the wind because we felt we'd have to throw.
With about a minute and a half left, you had the ball, an 11-point lead, and some people were a little surprised you didn't open it up and try to put some more points on the board.
I can't hear. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear your question. Hold it, guys.
You had, what was a quorum, please? You had an 11-point lead, a minute and a half left, and you had the ball. Some people were surprised that you didn't try to put some more points on the board.
We're just delighted with the win. A lot of points didn't excite me.
Okay, Don, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Back upstairs to Don Crick.
Thank you, Bill, and congratulations to Coach Don James and his Washington Huskies on one of the great wins in his great career, upsetting Oklahoma in the 51st Orange Bowl game. Our thanks to Wade Walker, the athletic director at Oklahoma, and Mike Treps, his sports information director, to Washington athletic director Mike Lute and Chuck Niemeyer, who've done such a great job helping us prepare as the Huskies go off the field. The untold story in college football when you're talking about #1 is what Don James talked about, though. The AP writers might want Brigham Young outright, and maybe they deserve it outright. But I'll tell you this, there's going to be a lot of coaches that are going to support this great victory by Washington over the #2 team in the country.
Final comment from me, it's a New Year's Day sweep for the Pac-10. 3 games, 3 victories.
That's right. UCLA winning in the Fiesta Bowl on NBC Sports. USC in the Rose Bowl over Ohio State. And now Washington standing tall, winning the 51st Orange Bowl game. Now for Bob Trumpy, this is Don Crickey, as we thank you for joining us here at the 51st Orange Bowl game. Washington a 28-17 victor. And now we wait for the votes in this inexact science of picking national champions. They'd love to play Brigham Young next week, and I'm sure Lavelle Anderson and the Cougars would welcome the challenge were it possible. That's it from the 51st Orange Bowl. Glad you could be with us on NBC Sports.